Let's master the Masterboard in 6 easy, doable steps. Hi, I'm Creative Katie, Karen Burchill. Welcome to my channel. I love creating masterboards, and I'm going to show you a quick, easy way to do it. So step 1, you need a collage base. I'm going to recommend using neutrals, book paper, black and white stamped images, music paper, and the like. And what I want you to do is just cut them into squares, rectangular shapes. Any size will do. There is no right or wrong. This really is fail safe. This is a coloring book. I'm not using it. I'm going to cut it up and I'm going to use it as collage papers. Now, we all know that the collage papers that go on a masterboard may peek through, but they might not. That's to be determined by where you go with it. So once you have a whole stash of the rectangles and squares, what you want to do is use fluid matte medium, gel medium if that's what you prefer, and glue it down. Overlap a little bit, that adds some texture. I'm just kind of mixing it up so I've got different tones here and there, different papers. Really overthinking it. This is a great stash builder session. I can do multiple layers of this at any time. If you're wondering what's underneath it, what am I putting as the base for my collage, for my masterboard? That's sewing pattern paper. It's nice and thin and it doesn't add a lot of bulk to your masterboard, which I've discovered that's the way I prefer it. But you can use copy paper if you prefer that, or any kind of substrate. So I'm just gluing it down. This is a great activity, as I said, as a stash builder. You can make multiples in one sitting. This is also a great activity if you kind of want to create, but you're not sure what you want to create. It gets you moving, has something that's at the ready that you can use at a later date. Keeping the papers neutral has the advantage of usability down the road. You haven't limited your options. I'm just filling in all the gaps and then having this handy at any point in time is just going to jumpstart the creative process. And there is the first layer, the collage layer of my masterboard. I'm going to move along with the next steps, but this could be where you leave it. So now that this is completely dry and I didn't have to stand over it with a heat tool, I'm going to recommend step 2 is to add gesso. And I'm just applying this with my finger, but you could brayer on some if you wanted to on top of it. That would give some extra texture. By putting it on you with your finger, the way you see me doing it, I'm kind of softening the edges, melding all those seams, covering up some, letting other stuff peek through. Again, this is fail proof. I've done it also with brayer. I just brayer on just a layer of white. It just kind of knocks back some of it, neutralizes it a little bit, and prepares for the next layer. So that's step 2. Step 3, we're going to pick some colors. And normally I put the colors on with my finger, just like you saw me do with the gesso. But today I'm going to mix it up a little bit because really there is no right or wrong. I am going to water this down a little bit and I'm going to smoosh it on. This is just a piece of packaging acetate that I had. I'm just going to apply it and I'm going to smoosh it on. That gives certain unpredictability, leaves a lot of white space. And it said, looks, I'm trying something different. You could spray on paint if that's what you prefer. You could stencil it on. I'm just preparing kind of the base colors. And in this moment, I'm thinking I'm going to go with Prussian blue, which is what I'm doing now, and yellow. That's as far as my thought process went. You'll see the page or the masterboard kind of has a brain or a mind of its own, and it led me a different way. But that's the joy of doing a masterboard. Go with the flow. If it works out, you have a great color scheme. If it doesn't work out, you can always go and do another one. So here I'm putting on the Naples yellow, and I know that the Naples yellow with the blue, when they mix, they kind of make a teal greeny color. And I like that color. So I didn't wait for the blue to dry. So if you know the colors are going to make something nice, test it off to the side, go ahead. If you know it's going to make mud, then you want to dry in between. So step 4, I always love to add some texture to my masterboard. I just love the feel of it. Now, normally I put modeling paste, texture paste through a stencil to achieve that. Here, I'm, again, thinking outside the box. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to put this on the silicone sink liner, and I'm going to stamp it on. This is giving less texture than if I went through a stencil, but the texture is still there. You're not going to see a whole lot of the pattern, but again, my goal is texture, not so much pattern at this stage. I learned very quickly that you really have to glob it onto the silicone. And I learned that I prefer putting the modeling paste through a stencil. There is no error. I just know I'm going to add more layers. So step 5, we're going to add more pattern, add more interest. I'm going to actually use that silicone sink liner, and I'm going to use a dark color and put some of that pattern on there. Now you could stamp pattern, stencil pattern, draw pattern on. Again, it doesn't matter. You want to add pattern in whatever way you have, whatever way you like. Now, when it comes to the patterns, you'll see I have a lot of circular patterns in here that I use, and I use patterns of different sizes. These are very small dots. The silicone sink liner had circles, kind of flower circle lists that were a larger scale. You want to mix it up, add some variation. So these are very fine, but I love this stamping detail in the finished masterboard. As I said, we want to pick different sizes and opacity. Here, these circles that I'm stenciling on using the circle template, I want it a little solid. And because this is a masterboard, I'm not thinking about composition. I know I'm going to be cutting this up, using it in different ways, and I have no idea what they are. So I'm just putting this on there, and the circles will be where the circles will be. Step 6, I want to add a contrasting color. I want some zip, some wow. Now, often black and white can be that contrasting color, really a dark or a real light. But here I'm going with burnt sienna, kind of a reddish tone. I thought that that would look really good with the blues and the yellows that I have. Now, unfortunately, the stamp that I picked here isn't really showcasing that contrasting color too much. It's adding pattern, but it's not really building in the contrast. No worries, I'm not done yet. So contrast take 2. I picked a different stencil, something with a bolder pattern. So I'm going to see more of that contrast color. And I'm just doing the ring part of that mandala stencil. And I love it. It's giving that contrast that I want. And it's making motion across my masterboard. It's making for a very interesting addition to it. I'm loving this contrast on there. And I'll be honest, this did not end up where I thought it was going to go. It became more vintage than I thought. I thought I was going light and airy with blues and yellows, but I didn't I wasn't happy when it got there. It seemed to be missing something. Maybe I chose the wrong blues and yellows. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do another masterboard with blue and yellow, maybe a different tone, not that burnt, not that Naples yellow oxide one, and it'll lead to a different place. Here I'm just adding a little bit more white stamping, very fine. Now, you may not be able to see this much, but you do see it on the final product. When I do a masterboard, I like to grab out stamps, stencils, things that I don't normally use or things that I've forgotten. It's a great place to test things out and or rediscover them. Definitely darker than I thought this would go. So here are some close-ups of the finished masterboard, which I definitely will be using. And I have a video coming where I use some of the pieces. And just as a added value to this, here's how I decide what I want to do with that masterboard. I have some window templates that match the various substrates. 4x4 square, 4x4 circles, 7x10 art journal page, 5x7, 6x4, whatever kind of substrates I have where I might be using a masterboard. This is a 6x6. And I just move it around and I try to isolate or identify an area. These are vases or house pieces for my wonky houses. I could use it for that. Covering for a composition book. And I just play with it. Experiment and use it as I go. In the end, I do a card with this, a 6x6, and I cut some circles out of it. The circles I'm going to use on an art journal page in a very soon upcoming video. Until next time, go get creative.